I met some people while on vacation at the beach. We purchased some 100x Salvia extract from the head shop and some liquid salvia drops and decided to enjoy them on the eve of a tropical storm. Staying in a high-rise condominium, we all decided that the beach was the safest place for us to be as we would not have a sitter. We made our way down to the beach, and I did not partake in anything else, including drinking alcohol that night. I was totally sober and even purchased a cheap acrylic water pipe for use, as I did not want to inhale any marijuana residue from the other pipe my friends were using. I had experimented with Salvia divinorum previously, including 10x, and had had pleasant experiences, described in a nutshell as 5 to 10 minutes of euphoric hallucination with a slight detachment from reality. However, this time would be different. We sat down, and each took 3 drops below our tongue, as was suggested. I didn't feel anything at first, but my cohorts were already well into their tripping within 5 minutes. I waited for another 5 minutes and began to feel slight euphoria and visual effects. The white cap waves appeared to be angels. I adjusted my eyes, although I knew they couldn't be. I was convinced. I heard a voice in the roar of the storm waves crashing. I don't remember what it said. Based on my past experiences, I wasn't fully in the zone yet, because there was no change in physical perception, no undulations or inertia. After another 5 minutes, I was feeling the effects better, but as everyone else was beginning to come off of their trips, I decided now was the time. I loaded the bong with a massive bowl of 100x Salvia and offered to pass it around, but no one else was interested. I took 3 massive hits in one and held it in my lungs until it cleared. It took all I had not to cough. About halfway into the 3rd hit, I cannot describe what happened, but I will try. Keep in mind I have no basis of LSD to compare this to, but the way I have described it to others, it is comparable if not more intense than LSD, and definitely more intense than mushrooms at this level. I paid nearly $120 for a gram of this, and it was worth every dollar. Almost instantly, I left the universe. All known bounds of human experience. What I saw was something that I've never seen and cannot put into words with the human vocabulary. I felt as if I belonged. Streaks of light surrounded and encompassed me, and I was carried by something similar to a warm river or an ocean current. As per the witnesses, I sat in one place and did not once enter the ocean during this process. Briefly, I began to recognize my surroundings. I began recognizing the people around me and started laughing. I was on top of the high-rise and I had just jumped, I had survived, and I rejoined myself at the edge of the waves. Then I left again, to a totally different place. It was completely white. Then what I can only describe as blurred-out, ant-like creatures appeared before my vision. They interfaced with one another and appeared to be blissfully aware but unconcerned of my presence. I wasn't sure what was going on, but wherever I was, it was either the most intense hallucination I've ever had in my entire life, or it was a real place. Then the room began to fade to a bright orange. Again, I emerged briefly. This time I'm not sure, but I felt like I had walked out of the ocean as I was being drawn back in by inertia out of the bottom of the ocean. I talked it over with myself, speaking in some weird language. I could tell people were freaked out, but there I went again, back to another existence. It was now that I began to walk into the ocean, rip-tide, storm surge and all. I guess they tried to stop me, but they couldn't. I kept walking, and because I was not in the universe, I couldn't hear them. I was told I walked to where the water was just about over my head. During this time, I don't remember what the nature of my hallucination was. Then, when I eventually came to, I was in a cold shower in someone's hotel room. The following I'm going to describe is a recount, per witnesses and my friends, of about 10 minutes between when I found myself in the ocean and when I finally woke up in the shower. After nearly drowning and being pulled out to sea, I somehow was washed back on my own by the waves. They said it was very sudden, and so strong that the wave came further than any other wave and cast me onto the shore. One of them, a trained lifeguard, said that I had stopped breathing for a moment, and he was about to begin to use his training to save me. I turned blue. Just as he moved in, I sprung up and began to spin in slow circles with my arms out. I was chanting something and crying. I did this for about 2 to 3 minutes before collapsing. They all helped lift and drag me on a towel to get me to their room on one of the lower floors, where I was in the shower for about 15 minutes before I came to. I don't have any recollection of my experience after going into the water. The only thing I can think of is I must have nearly drowned and possibly had a near-death experience. The lifeguard asked me to try to make myself throw up. I did. Nothing came up, just a gag reflex, meaning I had taken on little, if any, water. I did not feel that usual salvia hangover of approximately an hour, which is generally a tingling sensation or pins and needles, akin to a limb that has fallen asleep, lost circulation, and then sensation returns. In conclusion, they call this salvia divinorum for a reason. I have used it 4 times now, although I haven't had the occasion to use this potent extract again. Someone described it to me as acid without the flashbacks after she took it later that night. But that was her experience, and she was already on tons of other mind-altering substances. I feel that I was divinely connected for a few minutes to something that human beings are not supposed to see. I feel like I trespassed, but there seemed to be no care. I feel that on rare occasions, this is the drug that will actually divinely inspire me creatively and in life. But it is absolutely nothing one should abuse. It is very dangerous, and at this potency, it should be controlled or illegal in my opinion. I don't claim to have talked to God or deities, but according to the lifeguard, who is a medical student, I could have been legally dead for an instant. It is unlikely because there is a period between loss of respiration, then loss of circulation, and finally loss of brainwave activity. I probably lost respiration, but as he did not take a pulse or any other measures, there is no way to tell. This was by far the most intense, mind-altering experience that I have ever had.